Bow down thine ears, O Yahweh, hear me, for I am poor and needy. Preserve my soul, for I am holy. O thou my God, save thy servant that trusteth in thee. Be merciful unto me, O Yahuwah, for I cry unto thee daily. Rejoice the soul of thy servant, for unto thee, O I am, do I lift up my soul. For thou, I am, art good, and ready to forgive, and plenteous in mercy unto all them that call upon thee. Give ear, O Yahweh, unto my prayer, and attend unto my voice, the voice of my supplication, in the day of my trouble, when I call upon thee, for thou wilt answer me. Among the gods there is none like unto thee, O Yahuwah. Neither are there any works like unto thy works. All nations whom thou hast made shall come and worship before thee, O Yahweh, and shall glorify thy name. For thou art great and dost wondrous things, for thou art God alone. Teach me thy way, O Sanini Nanini, and I will walk in thy truth. Unite my heart to fear thy name. I will praise thee, O Tatan Zambi, my God, with all my heart, and I will glorify thy name forevermore. For great is thy mercy toward me, and thou hast delivered my soul from the lowest hell. O Yahweh, the proud has risen against me, and assemblies of violent men have sought after my soul, and have not set thee before them. But thou, O Yahweh, art a God full of compassion, and gracious, and long-suffering, and plenteous in mercy and truth. O turn unto me, and have mercy upon me. Give thy strength unto thy servant, and save the son of thy handmaid. Show me a good token for good, that they which hate me may see it, and be ashamed, because thou, O I am, hast hope in me, and comforted me. Psalms chapter 86. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits, who have swayed the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me and my seed, that we go not astray henceforth and forevermore. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20, a prayer of Abram. Yes. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We thank the Most High. Yes, we have a new year coming up. Yeah, a new year coming up around the month of March or April. Do your due diligence to find out when this new year shall occur. And then after that, 14 days. Whew, oh, glory to God. Yes, a time, and what a time. He said 3 feasts of the year. See, the heathen has one feast. They have their Halloween, their Christmas, their New Year. And, you know, these other ones, 4th of July and all this stuff. But God says 3. See, you're not used to that right now. Many of us are not used to that. We've raised up from babies. We were dragged to events with our mothers and fathers, and we just caused to learn different things. But then as soon as we find out who we really are, and that who's the real and true government of the earth, we sort of get confused and bumfuzzled. But 3, do your due diligence. Yes. God is always merciful. You understand, the psalmists are talking according to as they understand God. Some of them are talking out of prophecy, some of them not. They will tell you if they're talking out of prophecy, really. But the fact is that many are talking about their experiences with God, how merciful, how He's delivered them out of many things. And these are kings and maybe the sons of kings, yes, that have written these. And it's written by the scribes, or should I say the historians, that would take the words of the king and write them in a book, or the events of the day that come to them. This was the way the news was casted. But nevertheless, we thank God for you, and you. And also we thank God for those of you that have been with us since the beginning, and those of you that have been with us here and there's about, and those of you that have just subscribed, and those of you who are about to subscribe, calling those things that are not as though they are. Yes, we give God the glory and the praise even for you. Now we're in the book of 2 Kings. 2 Kings 2 Kings and chapter 9. Yes, chapter 9. 2 Kings and chapter 9. We're still in the ministry of Elisha. Elijah is gone. God took him up in a whirlwind, or as Elisha saw it and the scribe wrote it down, and Elisha saw it, and as he described it in his thoughts and what he can compare it to, yes, he was taken up. Now we have war, and there was a famine in the last chapter, and there was war, and the king of Syria was dead, and one of his people had preceded him, and also Ahab. God had showed what's going to happen to Jezebel and all those other things. Now here we go again. Now this, he already told us earlier in Kings what would happen to Jezebel. And Elijah the prophet called to one of the children of the prophets and said to them, "Here, gird up thy loins and take this box of oil in thy hand and go to Ramoth Gilead. When thou comest thither, look out there Jehu." This is a repeat, somewhat of verse of 1 Kings 1. "The son of Jehoshaphat, the son of Nimshi, go in and make him arise up and from among his brethren, and carry him into an inner chamber," or into a chamber. We have to really notice by the doing what is going on. "Then take the box of oil and pour it on his head and say, Thus saith the I am, I have anointed thee king over Israel." In other words, this is it's not of the line of David. David is not king over Israel. David will never be the king over Israel. That 10 tribes, no. And yet alone, he is not the king of Judah. Not today, not in this time, because it's been discontinued by the I am through one of his prophets. Now, and we will see that even as we get to the point where there was no king in Israel that was of the line of David, even during that set time of the Apocrypha. No, it wasn't nothing. It was discontinued. It was over with. Gone. So where does this New Testament come in? Where does the promise of a king come in? When you have your king right there talking to you and dealing with you all the time. He was there all the time. But yet we ignored him for men and for that which we could see being paganistic in our innermost being. Now, he said, "When thou comest, look out there Jehu." He says, "Carry him into a chamber." And then verse 3, he says, "Take the box of oil and pour it on his head and say, Thus saith the I am, I have anointed thee king of Israel. Then open the door and flee and tarry not." You have to realize all this thing is culminating even to today. It's culminating to a certain point. For some of you and us, it's going to be very scary and hideous. And I mean, some of you will die because of your heart, even young. The fear that should come. Yes, it shall happen. Unless you know the Most High and understand and know the Most High. Those who do not understand and know the Most High will always accuse him, just like the devils do. The Satans. Yes, they will do this. "Why God do this? Why do you allow this to die? Why you let my baby to die?" In other words, God, help me to understand why this happened. That baby belonged to God before it belongs to you. That mother belonged to God before she belonged to you. That anybody in your family, neighborhood, or whomever you so love, that wife, that husband, belonged to God before they belonged to you. And he still rules and reigns. Individually, we're responsible to God and accountable even to the most holy, he that possesses all time, space, and material things. We're accountable to only that spirit that moved upon the water. Yes, who said to Moses, "I am that I am." Yes, that's what you shall call me. That's what I stick with. Either way, you're going to have many names, God with many names. In English, this is what we understand. Now, other languages, you have what you say. Okay, how you describe God. Or you describe the spirit that moved upon the water. I mean, we have those descriptions, but yet we will understand even more if we look at God by what he does and understand why he did it. I'm trying to figure out how did he come about doing it. He's going to tell you either way. Now, so he took the box of oil and he freed and he didn't. And so the young man, even in verse 4, the young man, the prophet, went to Ramoth Gilead. And he went and he came, and behold, the captains of the host were sitting. And he said, I have an errand unto thee, O captain. And Jehu said, unto which of us all? He said, to thee, O captain. And he rose and went into the house, and he poured oil on his head and said to him, Thus saith the I am, God of Israel. I have anointed thee king over the people of the I am, even over Israel. And thou shalt smite the house of Ahab, thy master, that I may avenge the blood of my servants, the prophets, and the blood of all the servants of the I am at the hand of Jezebel. In other words, Israel did not have any bloodline or seed line that would be king. It was just whoever was an Israelite. That's it. That God had chosen. He says, for the whole house of Ahab shall perish. Now he's about to bring about his word that he spoken in 1 King. And I will cut off from Ahab him that pisseth against the wall. Talking about babies, toddlers, little boys. That's what he's talking about. You're not going to have any seed. Was it their fault? No. But they belong to God before they belong to you. Belong to that mother or that father. Oh, how tragic it is. But the fact is that we must trust God. We must trust the I am. We must have confidence in him and his decision to do what he does. Yes, we do. And I will make the house of Israel like the house of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, and like the house of Baasha, the son of Ahijah. It's supposed to be Yah or whatever that J is replacing. And the dog shall eat Jezebel in the portion of Jezreel, and there shall none bury her. And he opened the door and fled. Did just exactly as he was told to do. He was commanded to do. This is how God will have us to act before him. Then Jehu came forth to the servants of his king, and one said unto him, Is all well? Wherefore came this mad fellow to thee? A mad fellow, that was an angel. Yes, an angel. I did say that. Oh, no, yes, it was. Angel meaning messenger, period. Messenger. All right. He says, now, Jehu came forth, and he says, Is all well? Therefore he came, the mad fellow to thee, and he said unto them, and I'm in verse 11, and you know the man in his communication. And they said, It is false. Isn't when God tells you something or you heard a message from the Most High or someone, you always take that to account in your heart. You can't really say anything until it comes to pass. Because some things have come to pass, centuries, generations. Some come to pass in a few years. Sometimes God will give you time spans of what he wants. And usually, this is a clue and a hint. The time span will be in succession. There never was a time span where God gives you, like, if I give you 10 years, that 10 years should occur in that succession. God is not he's not here to confuse anyone. God doesn't confuse his creation. No, he doesn't. If God gives you a time span, that which he have told you or have relayed to you from another angel or what you would call a seer or a prophet, then it should come to pass in that time frame. There ain't no such thing as I give you 10 years and this many years and this many years, but it's way down when you're on your deathbed that it never occurred. Oh, he's going to do it. Clue. But nevertheless, let's keep going. What are you talking about? Let's keep going. It's not here. No, it's not. It will come in the future. And as you do your Bible study and try to get ahead of me, try to stay a few steps or maybe go way ahead of me. I would love it. Yes. Because people reject truth. They reject facts. They reject that for that which is half-truths. They want some type of somebody leading them or something. But God gives you his laws, commandments, statutes, and ordinances that you might lead yourself. You have it laid before you. Nobody has to tell you anything. But if you walk not according to them, then there he gives people, even as any government, that will come and check you, even to the point demise you if it's that bad. So the fact is let's treat this thing as a kingdom, as a government. That is here. It's here now. It's here in my heart, your heart, or whoever's heart that would obey the laws, statutes, commandments, and ordinances of this government at this time, until said time this government will materialize, even come forth. Yes. So, Jehu the son of Jehoshaphat, son of Nimshi, conspired against Jehoram. Let's go back up. He says in verse 11, ye know the man and his communication. And they said, it is false. Okay, verse 12. Tell us now, he said, thus and thus spake he to me, saying, thus saith the I have anointed thee king over Israel. Then they hastened and took every man his garment and put it under him on top of the stairs and blew with trumpets, saying, Jehu is king. So, Jehu, son of Japhat, son of Nimshi, conspired against Joram. Now Joram had kept Ramoth Gilead, and he and all Israel, because of Hazael, the king of Syria. Now Hazael was the one that we read in the previous chapter, that he was called to be king over Israel at a certain time. Now he's about to be replaced. But King Joram was returned to be healed in Jezreel of the wounds which the Syrians had given him. And he fought with Hazael, king of Syria. And Jehu said, if it be your minds, then let none go forth nor escape out of the city to go in Jezreel. So Jehu rolled in chariot and went to Jezreel, for Joram lay there. And Ahaziah, king of Judah, has come down to see Joram. And there stood a watchman on the tower in Jezreel, and spied the company of Jehu as he came, and said, I see a company. And Joram said, take an horseman and send to meet them, and let them say it is peace. Let them say it's peace. And so there went out on horseback to meet him, and said, thus saith the king, it is peace? He asked a question. And Jehu said, what hast thou to do with peace? Turn thee behind me. And the watchman told, saying, the messenger came to him, but he cometh not again. But then he sent out a second on horseback, and he came to him and said, thus saith the king, is it peace? And Jehu answered, what hast thou to do with peace? Turn thee behind me. And the watchman told, saying, he came even to them, cometh not again. Driving is like the driving of Jehu the son of Nimshi, for he driveth furiously. In other words, if he had a sports car, you would know it was him. Now Joram said, make ready. And his chariot was made ready, and Joram the king of Israel, and Ahaziah, king of Judah, went out each in his chariot, and they went out against Jehu, and met him in the portion of Naboth the Jezreelite. And it came to pass, when Joram saw Jehu, and he said, is it peace, Jehu? And he answered, what peace, so long as the whoredoms of thy mother Jezebel and of her witchcraft are so many? And Joram turned his hands and fled, and said to Ahaziah, there is treachery. Oh, Ahaziah. And Jehu drew a bow with his full strength, and smote Jehoram between his arms, and the arrow went out at his heart, and he sunk down in his chariot. Then Jehu to Bidkar his captain said to Bidkar his captain, take up and cast him in the portion of the field of Naboth the Jezreelite. For remember how that when I and thou rode against after Ahab his father, the I laid this burden upon him. Surely I've seen yesterday the blood of Nabal and the blood of his son, saith the I am, and I will requite thee in this plat, saith the I am. Now therefore take and cast him into the plat of ground, according to the word of the I am. And it was so. And then, verse 27. But Haziah, the king of Judah, now we're talking about Haziah, king of Judah, saw this and fled by the way of the garden of the house, and Jehu followed after him. Now Jehu's about to put some people down, as the Most High has instructed. And now see, this is what happened. This is what we're experiencing today. The Most High is giving word, maybe not by a prophet or maybe not by some things. Some people would try to twist the word of God and make it seem as though you can compare them to what's happening today, or you can give an example of what the word is saying and what happened back then to what is happening today. But God is causing one to be put down. And it's through a lot of events, battles, and should I say, whether they be battles of men and might, or battle of the minds, or battles of logistics and finances, until God finally subdues that one he's ready to put down and he brings up. Now he's doing this, and only if you read and study and understand and ask questions in the word, or should I say in the holy books, you will not understand what is going on and how God is really moving in the earth. Now this is on an earthly scale that we're talking about today. This was just in a region which to them was the whole earth. But now, in verse 27, we saw that Haziah, the king of Judah, saw this, and he fled by the way of the garden house, or Paradiso house, which means beautiful garden. And Jehu followed after him and said, smite him also in the chariot. And they did so at the going up to Gur, which is by Iblim, or Belihim. And he fled to Megiddo and died there. So God allowed him to be wiped off the earth. His spirit gone, his attitude gone. And his servants carried him in a chariot to Jerusalem, or Yasharal, or Jerusalem, or whatever you want to call it, and buried him in his sepulchre with his fathers in the city of David. And in the 11th year, Joram the son of Ahab began Ahaziah to reign over Judah. And when Judah was come to Jezebel heard of it, and she painted her face. Woo. In other words, Jezebel put on her some foundation and all this other stuff, and she put in some, that charcoal stuff the Egyptians use. They take a charcoal pencil and they put it on their eyes, and it looks good. It looks like pencil. It don't come off either. But with water, yeah, you can get it off. Yes, you can. But they use charcoal, a certain type of charcoal. But anyway, the way they process it. And that's how they darken their eyes. This has been for thousands of years they've done it. They still do it in Ethiopia. Parts of Ethiopia, they still do it the old way. Now, she painted her face. Apparently she had something where she wanted to make herself look good. This is why some of you young people, you would, or young women, you would say that, why they say, oh, you just paint your face, they get it from this part here. In other words, young lady, you look good as you are. Was you that way when you was a baby? Instead, you start putting all that junk in your hair. Look at the men around you. You have the same hair texture of the men, well, regardless of who you are. You have the same hair textures of the men. Why do you want to change it? You want to be like somebody else. You want to be like the norm. You have to pay all this money and do all these processes to get to look or even be somewhat like the people that are the majority or whatever, or you think are better than you. See, this is the whole mentality behind it. If you want to look like me, that means you think that I'm better than you. You think I'm prettier than you. You think my texture of hair is much better than you. But the fact is, you have to think about it. Over time, you've been subjected to television. You've been subjected to subliminal messages and all kind of, inputs of negativity about yourself, to the point where it has become the norm throughout many civilizations, and not many, but nations of African and, should I say, South American as well as North American people, even indigenous people, to make themselves to look after these people. You don't have to. See, the standard of beauty is that which you make it. And that is your individual right. That's where you are free. Now, when another person comes and says, well, oh, that's ugly, who are you trying to please? Do you look good to yourself, or you look good to them? Some tribes do not even bother with that. They like the way they look. They like the way their women are, their necks, even the calls in their mouths, or just the big belly of the man. You have to be careful of what they try to tell you and put in you that is normal and that is acceptable. Let us continue. And Jehu entered into the gate and had Nimri peace to his master. She painted herself and tied her head and looked out a window. Anyway, she was looking good. That's what Jezebel. Jezebel was looking good. Old woman looking good. Now, as Jehu entered the gate, he said, has Nimri peace who slew his master? And he lifted up his face to the window and said, who is on my side? Who? And there looked out to him 2 or 3 eunuchs. And he said, now eunuchs, they had got this. Yes, this was a part of the practice of the Egyptians. Now you have to realize they come out of Egyptians. They learned a lot of Egyptian ways. And they even carried them even to that day. A lot of Egyptian ways. And the same thing with the Egyptians took some of the ways of the Israelites also. Now, this is what I'm saying. And he said, throw her down. Throw this one who stirs up and causes havoc in all the country amongst brethren. So they threw her down, and some of her blood sprinkled on the wall and on the horses, and he trod her underfoot. And when she was come in, he did eat and drink and said, go now see this cursed woman, and buried her, for she is a king's daughter. He was going to give her that honor. Even the king who worshipped that hideous devil, that Satan. And they went to bury her, but they found no more of her than the skull and the feet and the palms of her hand. Wherefore they came again and told him. And he said, this is the word of the I am, which he spake to his servant Eliah the Tishbite, saying, in the portion of Jezreel shall the dogs eat the flesh of Jezebel. And the word of the Most High came to pass. The prophet is also validated again. Hallelujah. Yes, this is a true prophet. He's going to wait on God. Regardless of people say, oh, you're lying, you're lying, you're lying, there's nothing. But he didn't do it with celebrities. He didn't do it with just people that were easy, that you just about can see where they're headed. Yes, you can. If you listen to the reports enough or the news, you can just about tell what's going to happen. From preachers to those who people hold in high esteem because of their talents, how we say, yes, we can just about tell it's going to end a certain way. And the carcass of Jezebel shall be as dung upon the face of the field in the portion of Jezreel, so that they shall not say, this is Jezebel. What is she going to be in dung? In other words, when the dogs get through digesting her flesh, they will go and poop her remains out of their bowels. And so, when God did test you, God did test you. And so shall happen to these that have caused many a demise and have concocted many of things to the children of Jacob, and have treated them like dogs and out of every nation and people and kindred. Yes, God is going to bring revenge or vengeance, whichever you want to call it. He's going to bring that, just like and it's going to be hideous. Yes, very hideous. Revelation, whatever, but we know it's going to be hideous, because God can be, his anger toward man and spirits, can be, woof, we cannot even fathom. But nevertheless, if we keep his commandments, statutes, and ordinances, we will have peace.
Walk with me.